Lobster Magnet. Lobster's a 10, I told you grab it. Welcome to Lobster Magnets, the review, the channel, the review. I'm here with my buddy Zavule.
Evening, folks.
And this is the second of our audio-only podcast reviews. We are doing chapters 55 and 56 of The Promised Neverland. So, I've been kind of dying to talk to you about this, because, I know you probably hated chapter 55.
Oh, God. The last two chapters have just kind of pissed me off so much.
I didn't hate 56 as much as 55, because 56 signals, what I thought the series was going to go to, which is ultimately getting rid of the fucking kids.
Well, that is the only redeeming quality of this entire two chapters. Okay, but just look at the first page of chapter 56. I'll wait.
Are you talking about the one where they're all nude running into the bathroom?
No, 56. I'm talking about the page where our the guy who is supposed to be our, I guess, quasi-arc villain, who is supposed to be the big adult threat of this chapter, is being fucking home alone by literally a fucking rope attached to a doorknob.
Yeah.
I am no longer afraid of him. I don't care that he has a knife anymore.
Yeah.
At this point, he's basically one of the wet bandits, and that is sad.
that is effectively true.
Okay, at this point, I'm basically just expecting him to, just try and open a door, except they put, a curling iron on it, and it's hot, and it burns his hand. I'm expecting to drop paint cans on him every time he does something. I'm just not scared of him anymore, and just, I am dying for, a legitimate villain at this point.
Yeah, we really need, Evil Norman or Evil Demon or the Poachers or something. The series is in desperate need for a villain because, they have the cool shots with him, with the knife, and, it's okay, he had a fucking gun. A gun is always better than a fucking knife. Why should we be afraid of him? If he can't shoot the children, why should we believe that he's gonna stab them to death?
Yeah, and, in 55... it's they have him strapped to a table with duct tape. It's he's just not scary anymore.
He had a great introduction. I kind of love the idea that, this, infantile, man-child who's, forced to grow up alone, who's never seen a human adult. But then, after the nut shot, it's just been a downward slope for him. Although it's obvious that they're going to, try and build him up as sort of, a villain slash, comrade who's going to guide Emma and Ray to, the next thing. But I think one of the things that really bugged me about 55 was, it's a very standard shonen celebration, post-arc celebration thing. And, we see it all the time in One Piece, and, we like it there. But here it didn't feel that earned, given the fact that they had, maybe, two incidents when they were in the wild. Where shit might have went wrong, but it didn't go that wrong. They had, the plants, and then they had the incident with the demon that chases them. But then the demon's head gets chopped off, and the kids don't even have to deal with that because they wind up chasing Ray.
Not only is it doesn't feel earned, but just on top of that, they keep having these tonal shifts where it goes from really threatening and dark, kind of what we've come to expect from Promised Neverland, to just this goofy, chibi artwork, which, when they were back on the farm, you could kind of get away with, because most of that was interactions between the children. But one thing that they were really good about, when dealing with, the farm arcs and trying to orchestrate their escape, was never, ever including your villain in those moments.
Yeah,
because they were always supposed to be evil and conniving and in the background, and more importantly,
that's
threatening.
A good observation. Ooh, sorry, what were you saying?
He's got the character model to be really threatening, and he's shown a willingness to be threatening, but they just, every time they do those facial fractures, or they draw him in chibi form, or literally just minor frustrations say again, a doorknob tied with rope
Yeah.
to another door. It is just, it's one of those things where, like, you would have never seen that work back on the farm.
No, yeah, that's true. You would have never seen it happen with like Crone
And since
Isabella.
since they've confronted that already and dealt with people who obviously can't be tricked like that, there's no sense of urgency or no sense of stakes because they're obviously going to wipe the floor with this poor fucker.
Yeah, and like he did have like an interesting thing that like this is a kid and this is like a darker parallel of like what happens when you do fail, and I like the idea that like presumably he's like a child genius who there was almost like this Royal Tenen. You ever see the Royal Tenenbaums?
Yeah.
This Royal Tenenbaums quality where we assume that he's a child genius from another farm because he was able to escape, and for the premium farms all like fucking love their like child geniuses because the brains are tastier and whatnot, and like but like this is a guy who was obviously broken and a failed child genius, and that is honestly an interesting dynamic. But yeah, you're right, it's really difficult to take him seriously as a threat or as like
at that point you should make him into an anti-hero. They're just not doing that.
No, and they still want us to be afraid. And he did have like the potential to be like a great character introduction, but like, yeah, but like, yeah, they obviously want him to be like an anti-hero who's like eventually becomes friends with Emma and Reyes. He's gonna like somehow he's gonna wind up becoming their guide through the negotiation, which my guess is like in the next 2-3 chapters that'll be the negotiation. And then once the terms are settled and we get a little bit more information, that's when, they'll head out to their new adventure and we'll be free of the fucking children.
I will say I am fucking thrilled about the idea that we might just be dumping them off.
Oh god, yes. That makes me so fucking happy.
We'll get really, really lucky. And when they come back, all the children will be dead and he'll have eaten them.
Well, that is the great potential that, like, there is an opportunity. We know there's this poacher thing. We don't know what they are, but we know that, like, he's the only one left. So maybe they go off and they think everything's going to be fine. And then they come back and, there's only Gilda left and she only has, like, a fucking arm left. And I would love that. I would love that so much. Because, like, I don't think any of these things are, like, ruining the series, but it's definitely, like...
it's not helping.
No, it's not helping. It's gone from, like, Promised Neverland used to be something I would, willfully want to shove down everyone's throats and, go onto the mountain and sing its praises so I could, like, take credit for it becoming, the biggest thing ever in my own sense of, like, self-worth. But now it's just become, like, yeah, it's a thing that exists. It's kind of interesting. They don't have superpowers. That's good.
I will say that is the only thing that I've been consistently happy about is nobody has superpowers.
Yeah, I am impressed that they've managed to keep that in. But like, yeah, we need like a new villain. We need like a new setting. Like, and like I was hoping we'd get a little bit more info dump for their like investigation of the fucking thing, but we didn't really get anything other than the obvious like, oh, there are other plantations and they have other signs on the other people. Oh yeah, we got that already.
Yeah, I am kind of annoyed. It is a pretty consistent theme that they just keep home aloneing their villains. Like, I guess because they don't have superpowers, but I don't know. It just completely takes all the fire out of them.
Yeah, we definitely need to like see more of the demons and learn more about them some way, and not through like a nice demon way like Songju or Musica, but like through a really threatening way.
Actually, that would have been a really good plot choice, is rather than having the extra friendly demons, this only surviving human would have been a great resource to learn more about demons.
Yeah.
He would have made a good anti-hero, especially if you weren't trying to build him up to be a villain. He would have made an excellent anti-hero and kind of an excellent plot dump. Yeah. And that way you could have kept the demons as like this sort of unknowable, terrible force, while having somebody who is neither good nor evil and just kind of out for his own survival. And so you can't really depend on him. And so you you kind of have this source of information, but you can't trust him to be helpful or do anything for you because you still kind of have that ambiguity going. And then on top of all that, you could learn some really like disturbing and cool stuff about the demons that, again, you wouldn't be like home alone by just not being able to find them and being thwarted by a bunch of fucking children in the goddamn forest.
True. That would have been interesting if they introduced him earlier and he was like this fucking like wild man of Kalamazoo who's just like fucking Tarzaning in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Although, you know, I did like his introduction where he has this like weird outfit and then they just sort of see how like immature he is and like, you know, and there is a possibility that he might get salvaged as he becomes their like guide, because obviously the negotiations are going to work through and it's going to be him, Emma, and Ray are going to go on an adventure, and you know, we'll see if the series picks up steam after they like get rid of the fucking children.
I kind of hope they leave him with the children.
You think? I think it was foreshadowed too much in 56 that they want him to come along with them, because they said that they need a guide and they want their senpai, and you know they're going to negotiate somehow to give him to go with them to the new shelter at one, you know, A0560 whatever.
Yeah, I just don't know how they're going to do that, because man, does he not want to leave.
Yeah, and they don't really have anything to like convince him, like, you know, oh, maybe there'll be more cookies at the fucking other shelter because all the kids ate the fucking cookies you liked so much.
God, maybe Emma could just threaten to shoot him in the nuts.
Ugh, I just want there to be an arc where they go to like the demon civilization and they have to go all Metal Gear Solid, like hiding amongst the demon buildings and listening in on demon conversations. That's really what I'm kind of like eager
Man,
to
that would
see.
be a great crossover with my theoretical slice of life demon manga.
Just like hearing them going to the human market and then like having some sort of like, you know, socio-political economic thing where like, you know, we get to see the lower class demons and like, oh, we can't conquer humans from the Whole Foods. It's ridiculous. It's like whole paycheck.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then you just have this, like, you know, this, like, fucking PTA demon mom who's like, you know, our children can't be eaten from a slop. Don't you see? They're not cage raised. The meat is inferior. Just, like, yeah, exactly. Something that's like that episode of, like, fucking King of the Hill on the food co-op.
Yeah. And like, at some point, they just, like sit on, like, a demon biology class. Because, you know what? Since we already know Musica exists, and apparently all it takes to pass for a demon is a fucking face mask. Like, just sit on a biology class.
You know what? Why not? Why doesn't Emma put on a mask and, like, you know, that would almost be dumb, but at this point, like, if it gave me more of the demons, I could accept it. If Musica can fucking pass is, like, fine, then, you know what, get a fucking face mask and throw Emma in there, and let's go to town. Let's get some fucking exposition.
Yeah, just a demon mask and a cheap pair of vampire fangs from Party City.
That's all she needs to, like, fucking infiltrate it. I'm still half expecting that, like, when they get to that new bunker, there's going to be, like, they're going to turn around, they're going to find a skeleton. It's William Minerva? He's been dead all along!
I think that will be the point where I stop reading.
A few chapters ago, you were like, you know what? I'd like it if William Minerva was dead and he's a skeleton.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm still curious of, like, the logistics of how the fuck does William Minerva and his, like, anti-human or pro-human food revolution force, like, manage to slip behind, like, the demon enemy lines and, like, build all this?
Man, I still kind of hope I still kind of hope William Minerva is just a poacher. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Well, we still don't know if the poachers are
would...
humans or like demons or what the deal is with them.
I don't know. That would give me faith back in the series.
Yeah, we need something dark, something mean and dark to show this thing has fangs. Yeah.
All right. So what kind of collective score do you want to give this thing?
Yeah, I guess so. We can do a collective score. I don't know, maybe 6.5 or 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.
I think that's fair. Like it's not a terrible read, and I guess if like you want to see like immature little children penises, and like you missed that from the Dragon Ball days when Goku would run around with his little baby penis, then there's plenty of that. But like, yeah, I didn't think this happiness moment was earned. They didn't suffer enough for it. They had like two major incidents. Then they were basically on easy street as Musica and Songju like fucking took them to like fucking forest boot camp and like made food for them, and everything was great.
Yeah, pretty much. Surprising amount of happy for this season, for this series.
Yeah, like, oh man, like that Grace Field arc, that's an all-timer arc. People are gonna go apeshit when they animate, if a good studio gets their hands on it. But I mean, come on, Promised Neverland, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you to become like the next big thing. Like, you can do it. You can do it. You just gotta try a little harder, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think seven's fair for like collectively, but it's exciting that like we're gonna be like not have any of the children. that's like the best news we've had so far. That we're gonna finally be freed of those awful children who are the fucking worst, and all they should be used in is like flashbacks. And oh my god, they're important to Emma. Okay, now you go off the screen where we don't have to fucking deal with you.
Yeah. All right. So, question.
Yep.
What do you want to shell?
Good fucking question. I'm not quite sure what would be like the most appropriate thing. I'm half tempted to go Home Alone.
Yeah, let's go with Home Alone.
Okay, yeah, Home Alone makes sense because Home Alone is the definitive kids rule, adults drool, home invasion movie. And you can relive the adventure as Rufio, because he still doesn't have a name, so I'm going to call him Rufio. His fucking Rufio has to deal with those crazy fucking kids and all their weird shenanigans. Oh my god, the genius kids. And Rufio just can't handle it. Oh my god, maybe they're going to throw marbles and Rufio's going to fall down. Or maybe they're going to do the iron to the door. And they're just going to slowly mutilate him through a hilarious slapstick antics. And it's going to be the best. And then William Minerva is going to wake up and, go, oh my god, I left the genius kids in the vault! Ah!
Yeah.
So, go relive the John Hughes classic of Home Alone, because that's the closest thing I could compare Promised Neverland to right now. Click the link down below, go watch Home Alone, or buy something you actually do want.
Yeah. All right. I'm out of here, folks.
I think that covers up our thoughts on this chapters. Thank you for hearing us out. Let us know what you think of the new format. If you like the podcast for these group sessions, or if you like seeing our ugly mugs. I like this because it's easier to produce, and I can just call someone and I can make the sound better. But we'll see how the internet reacts. So comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz. And remember, lobsters and tennis, but don't you grab it.